Hello, everyone. I'm YTT Future News Laura. What I'm going to reveal today is very interesting. In M's text conference room, we revealed a new protection trade war, which was announced as future news between 2013 and 2016, and the U.S. China trade war and the Indo-Pacific alliance, which was announced as future news in 2017. It was when M, in a text conference room, announced neo-protectionism between 2013 and 2016, and U.S. China trade war in 2017 as future news. It was shared by more than 20 advanced countries' intelligence agencies around the world, and it was shared by the heads of 20 advanced countries around the world. Of course, it was shared by the U.S. intelligence agencies and translated by about 3,000 people. Of course, both Xi and Putin know this. What you don't know means. In other words, you weren't in a position to know the content. As you'll see, M was the ideology of Donald Trump's 1.0 government. Okay? However, M's future news, neo-protectionism, and U.S. China trade war, and Steve Bannon, the chief strategist for Donald Trump's 1.0 administration, clashed, and eventually Steve Bannon resigned as chief strategist for the White House after being ousted by President Trump and his team's dignitaries on August 19, 2017. Stephen Bannon, a powerful but divisive figure in the White House, ended a tumultuous 7 months as Donald Trump accepted Bannon's resignation.
President Donald Trump's chief strategist, Steve Bannon, is leaving his White House post. Bannon was a key advisor to Trump's general election campaign and has been a forceful but contentious presence in a divided White House. The former leader of conservative Breitbart News pushed Trump to follow through with his campaign promises, but he's also sparred with some of Trump's closest advisors, including son-in-law Jared Kushner. On Wednesday, Bannon gave an interview to the liberal publication The American Prospect, in which he said there is no military solution to North Korea and talked about purging his rivals from the Defense and State Departments. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders released a statement confirming Friday as Bannon's last day, saying, quote, "We are grateful for his service and wish him the best." Kelly Daschle, Associated Press.
M's future news, new protectionism and the U.S. China trade war began to kill China in earnest at midnight on July 6, 2018, as the U.S. had foreseen, imposing 25% retaliatory tariffs on 818 Chinese imports worth $34 billion, and the trade war between the two countries, which began when China imposed the same 25% retaliatory tariffs on U.S. agricultural, automobile, and marine products imported into China as the U.S. bid on $34 billion in response.
For about 3 hours or so, we were on tenterhooks, wondering whether or not the Chinese were having a case of cold feet. But the Foreign Ministry then clarified and confirmed that China, in fact, did retaliate with its own tariffs immediately after the U.S.'s move. Customs officials have already started collecting duties for 545 items worth $34 billion. This is the same amount matching the amount subject to U.S. tariffs. The targeted goods include crops like soybeans, as well as cars. And earlier today, the Commerce Ministry said that it really had no choice but to...
It's D-Day. The U.S. has slapped tariffs on Chinese goods on Friday, the first shot in a trade war between the world's two biggest economies. As of Friday, U.S. Eastern Time, Washington started taxing 818 Chinese products, including semiconductors and airplane parts that are worth $34 billion a year. Beijing has vowed to hit back with tariffs on the same amount of U.S. goods ranging from soybeans to pork. The move comes after President Trump repeatedly decried the U.S. trade deficit with China and accused Beijing of forcing U.S. companies to transfer their intellectual property to Chinese companies to enter the Chinese market. Following Friday's tariffs, the U.S. also plans to impose a second round of tariffs on $16 billion worth of Chinese products in about 2 weeks. Another action China has said it would respond to in kind by imposing tariffs on U.S. products including soybeans, dairy products, and automobiles. Experts are warning that an escalating trade war between the two superpowers could disrupt supply chains and hurt business confidence. Hyundai Research Institute estimates that if the U.S. imports of Chinese goods drop 10%, this will eventually cause Korea's exports to China shrink by more than $28 billion. The Trump administration, in addition, is mounting clashes with other trading partners, in particular Canada, Mexico, and the EU. Fitch Ratings estimates that a full-blown trade war between Washington and Beijing could cost the world economy some $2 trillion. 김혜성, 아리랑 뉴스.
M's text conference room announced COVID-19 as future news in 2018 and 2019. And M's 2019 future news announced Joe Biden as the 46th president of the United States. And M's 2019 future news announced that Kamala Harris will be the 47th presidential candidate of the United States. And M's future news went on to announce that Donald Trump will be elected as the 47th president of the United States. M's future news has become a reality. In 2024, Donald Trump was elected as the 47th president of the United States, and the 2.0 government was inaugurated. However, M's text conference room decided not to continue serving as the ideology of Donald Trump's 2.0 government anymore. M's text room said why decided not to continue his ideological role in Donald Trump's 2.0 administration. Donald Trump should keep in mind, the United States is a country of the G1. But what is clear is that the G1 cannot exist without a strong alliance. M's text conference room then decided to teach Donald Trump a lesson, so declared an economic war against Donald Trump's 2.0 administration. It's been 4 months since the start of the economic war between M's text conference room and the government of U.S. Donald Trump 2.0. All of Donald Trump's accomplishments in the 1.0 government 5 years ago are falling apart in a devastating way. What do we need to say? GMGFA, GMAGA, GMAHA, GMKCA, everyone. I'll check it with evidence. Hello, everyone. I'm Laura from YTT Future News. Today is Sunday, March 9th, 2025 as of U.S. time. 2 days ago, President Donald Trump announced about stablecoins. The M text conference room responded to President Donald Trump's stablecoin announcement with future news. And regarding stablecoins, the future news in the M text conference room is as follows. Donald Trump to use stablecoins to maintain dollar hegemony? Don't be silly. Stablecoins weaken central banks. Stablecoin is derived from M's mineral economy. Only M knows how to use stablecoins. But M won't tell Donald Trump. When will the weakening of the central bank due to stablecoins become a reality? The M text conference room is scheduled to make a follow-up announcement on stablecoins and weakening central banks. YTT News will obtain the future news presented in relation to the stablecoin in the M text conference room at the fastest speed and make a follow-up announcement. This has been YTT News, Laura. See you again. Hello, everyone. I'm Laura from YTT Future News. Today is Monday, March 10th, 2025 as of U.S. time. M texting room and Elon Musk started economic war, now entering 4th month. 2 days ago, the M text conference room announced that if Elon Musk does not stop doing what could be mistaken as 2025 Sinachi, Tesla's stock price will plunge by minus 60% against its peak. It's only been 2 days. Tesla's shares are plummeted. Oh my god. What's wrong with Tesla's stock price? Is it plummeting like this? Are you crazy? M announced COVID-19 as future news in 2017 and 2018. Since then, it has been 7 years in the COVID-19 economy, or station trouble economy, against the world's top 100 real economy experts. It has a 100% winning rate in tens of thousands of economic wars. It was when M announced COVID-19 as future news in the text conference room in 2018. It was shared by more than 20 advanced countries' intelligence agencies around the world. And it was shared by the heads of 20 advanced countries around the world. Of course, it was shared by the U.S. intelligence agency and translated by about 3,000 people. Of course, Xi and Putin both know that. What you don't know means. In other words, you weren't in a position to know the content. As you will find out gradually, M was the ideology of Donald Trump's 1.0 government. Okay? The M text conference room is scheduled to make a follow-up announcement on Tesla's stock price. YTT News will obtain the future news announced in relation to Tesla's stock price from the M text conference room at the fastest pace and make a follow-up announcement. This has been YTT News, Laura. See you again. Hello, everyone. I'm Laura from YTT Future News. Today is Saturday, April 5th, 2025 in American time. The M text conference room announced on March 18th, 2025, that the stock was down minus 50% from its peak in relation to Nvidia. I should have secured the future news of the M text conference room earlier. But now that all the members of the M text room have left New York and they have decided not to return to New York until the end of Donald Trump's term, or else until the end of his term, it is a little later than in the past to secure future news for the M text room. That's all for today for the future news of the M text conference room. This has been YTT Radio News, Laura. See you again.
Learning